So I have a 2006 Jeep Wrangler, and I wanted to install some off-road lights and the off-road brackets, but I ran into some problems when I was trying to remove the Torx screws or Torx bolts from the windshield bracket here on the Jeep to get the off-road brackets mounted. And I was told that probably they Loctited the screws on there, and that's why they were so difficult to remove. So yesterday I did the driver's side. I was able to get the Torx screws off, and the way that I did it was I bought a micro torch and applied heat to the Torx screw. Prior to that, I had tried the impact driver and basically beat it to death and was afraid I was going to start punching holes through my Jeep because I was pounding on it so hard. It just didn't work for me. I bought a 3/8 inch impact driver. I've been told that a 1/2 inch probably would have worked better, but once I bought the torch and I applied heat to the Torx bolts, they came off very easy, and I didn't have any problems. I didn't have to use the impact driver at all. So I just wanted to share this because I tried to find directions on how to remove these and I couldn't find any, and I thought maybe I'd help somebody else out by showing them how I did it. So I'm going to get set up here and remove the bracket. I've only got it held on by the one screw down here on the bottom. That was the only screw that I was able to get off. It's a different type of screw. But I'm going to go in and remove this and pull the rest of the Torx screws out and show you how I'm doing that. Okay, so before I get started, I wanted to show you what all I'm using to remove these screws. And like I said, I bought the micro torch, and these are the new screws that came with the brackets. They are hex heads, and I think it's a 3/16 hex that I'm using to install them. And the old screws that I pulled off the other side, I was going to show you the 3 screws that I had the problems with. They've got Loctite here. It's the blue Loctite. I think it's 242. I believe it's supposed to be the medium strength Loctite, but combined with the fact that we had the factory paint over the head of the screw, made it really difficult to break. But once I applied the heat, it came off pretty easily. And then a T40 Torx bit is also necessary. So if you've got this stuff here, I also have a hammer kind of off the side of the frame there. So once I start the T40 in it after I've heated it, I will put the bit in it and hit it with the hammer to make sure that it's good and seated before I start trying to loosen it up. So those are the tools that that you need in order to get these Torx screws removed. And always helps you have a little motivation here. That's very important, I've learned. Okay, so now I'm going to apply heat to this Torx screw, and the way that I do it, I hope that you can see the tip of the blue flame, is I'm focusing it on the center of the Torx screw itself, and I've held it there on the other side. When I removed those screws, I did it for about 30 seconds, and then I instantly or immediately put my Torx bit in there and tapped it in with the hammer, and then put the ratchet on it and removed the screw. So hopefully that's going to work on this side here too. But again, I focused that flame into the center of the Torx screw. There's some condensation coming off of the paint. It didn't seem to hurt on the other side. I'm hoping everything goes well here. Okay. So I'll tap in the bit to make sure that it's good and seated in there. I don't want to strip anything here. Put the ratchet on. And there. it broke loose. And this one has Loctite on it too. So you can see the blue Loctite that they used probably at the factory when they assembled the Jeep. So that's the problem, and I didn't use the impact driver at all on this. I just used the torch, heated it for 30 seconds, and removed this screw. And that's it. I'll do the other three. The one thing is on the front Torx screw, let me adjust my camera here so I can show you something. On this screw here, you can tell that it's really close to the windshield, and what I do is I just hold the off-road light bracket up in place and kind of use it as a barrier to keep the heat from getting too close to this rubber seal that's on the windshield. I did it on the other side, and it worked great, didn't have any problems. I actually mounted it with the one screw that I took off to hold it in place, and then applied the heat to this Torx screw and removed that Torx screw. So I'll show you this when I'm done. Okay, so I'm done here. I've removed all 4 of the screws. Now I'm ready to mount my off-road light bracket there. And when I was removing the Torx screw on the face of the windshield frame here, I just want to let you know that I ran out of butane counting to 30 seconds, and I only got to 15 seconds. And rather than stop and refuel my micro torch, I thought, well, maybe 15 seconds is good enough. So I immediately put the Torx bit driver in there and tapped it in with my hammer and was able to remove it no problem. So 15 seconds is sufficient. I know you want to be really careful when you're applying heat to this. You don't want to torch your Jeep up. But 15 seconds proved adequate for removing that Torx screw. So now I'll put my windshield or off-road light bracket on, and I'm done. So really easy. Hey, I couldn't have done it without the good old PBR. You know, that's a good vitamin at 8 o'clock in the morning. Awesome stuff. Learned that somewhere.